Revenge films.
My name is Michelle. Until that time, I had been living together with my husband and our daughter. We were a simple family, but I loved them, and I thought that we were living as a happy family of 3. However, one day, on the weekend, my mother-in-law suddenly barged into our house. I was wondering what was wrong, but then with intense anger, she raised her voice at me and said, "You liar! You traitor! How dare you lie to my son like that and fool him? I bet that child is somebody else's child anyway, some other man. You better hurry up and leave. Get out of my son's life immediately." She yelled at me. This was all happening so suddenly that I couldn't even understand what she was saying or what was going on. Both my husband and I stood there in shock, but then, right at that moment, behind our backs, I heard a noise come from the kitchen. When I turned around and looked, there was a woman in the kitchen pouring tea out of my teacup and mugs. My husband and I were so distracted by my mother-in-law's intensity out of nowhere that this time we were shocked as to who this woman was, and when or how she'd gotten into the house. But then the shock didn't stop here, because it became worse when the woman opened her mouth. When we asked her what on earth she was doing in our house, the woman replied that she was going to be taking care of my husband from now on, and she started saying that that meant this kitchen was hers and she could do whatever she pleased in it. And then on top of that, she turned to me and said not to pay any mind to my husband and to her, and that I should go and be happy with her little brother. None of the words coming out of her mouth made any sense, and to make matters even creepier, she was saying that with a smile on her face. I had chills down my spine. At first, my husband also seemed shocked and confused, but at that moment it seemed that he realized, for the first time, that this woman was actually one of his former colleagues from his job.
I'm sorry, but what are you saying?
What do you mean? Isn't it obvious? It means that the day has finally come that you and I get to be together, and we get to live happily ever after together. Oh, and when we get remarried, it's already been decided that your mother is going to be living together with us. Are you kidding me? What is going on here? Why are you speaking as though my husband and I are already going to be getting divorced? You shut up! You're a dirty, cheating woman who's been betraying my son all these years. Hurry up and take that child and leave. Everything was so one-sided, and even though I still couldn't understand what was going on, I could feel the anger boiling inside of me. In order to understand the situation, I decided to take a moment to organize what was going on here. According to this woman and my mother-in-law, I was having an affair with this woman's little brother. And the woman says that my husband and her are in love. And on top of that, she said that she was currently pregnant with my husband's child. As I was organizing my thoughts, the headache was getting bigger. But as if to support this woman, my mother-in-law said that she heard her eyewitness account that she had seen her little brother coming in and out of my house and being with me multiple times. My husband took my side, and he wasn't believing anything that they said. He quickly said that there was no way that would be the case, but I was confused. It's not like there was a ghost around, so I couldn't understand what she meant that she saw a man coming in and out of my house. But right at that moment, a delivery person arrived. At that moment, my mother-in-law and the woman came out to the front door to see who it was. When the delivery person walked into the front door, he saw the woman standing behind me, and with a confused look on his face, he said,
Wait, what is my sister doing here?
Actually, because of my current job, it was frequent that every day, sometimes even twice a day, there would be deliveries sent to my house. And it turns out that my mother-in-law had mistook this as me having an affair with this man. Not only that, but because the delivery truck was specifically for these deliveries, and one of his colleagues was always with him, he wouldn't have had time to be having an affair with me. And more than anything, this woman's little brother had a girlfriend that he had been dating for many years, and they were actually engaged. He had told me that he was planning on marrying her next year. With that, the suspicions toward me having an affair became clear. But my mother-in-law was still raising her voice, and the worst part of all of that was that the woman was still insisting that she was pregnant with my husband's child. However, the delivery man, who was her little brother, let out a huge sigh and dropped his shoulders. He turned to his sister and said, "Are you telling huge lies like that again? What are you doing?" We were all shocked and turned to face him, and the delivery man continued to tell us something more shocking. As it turns out, this woman was famous for bragging, and that she lies just as much as she breathes. And because of that, including her little brother, she was always causing trouble to those around her. When the woman heard that, she started fighting back that she wasn't lying, that she definitely had my husband's baby inside of her and that she was pregnant. So her little brother confronted her and said that if she was so certain she was pregnant, then to tell us the expected due date. The woman yelled out, "I'm giving birth next year in November." Well, the moment she said that, everybody's jaw dropped, including my mother-in-law's. Everybody knows that a child is born in about 10 months and 10 days, but according to what this woman was saying, if it went according to her plan and calculation, it meant that she would be giving birth a year from now, and she didn't seem to think that that was strange at all. But when my mother-in-law heard this, she turned pale. According to her little brother, this woman was always telling lies like this, and this wasn't the first time that she was causing a huge commotion like this and troubling other people. But according to this lying woman, she always admired my husband when they were working together, and she had stalked him a number of times and had even followed him back to our house. And then the moment she saw that her little brother was going in and out of our house, she decided that I was having an affair with him. And then she asked one of her former colleagues that was in the administrative department for my father's mother's address, and that's how she was able to get in touch with my mother-in-law. But my mother-in-law had always looked down upon me, and once this woman came to her with the story, it all took off from there and ended up like this. The woman continued to say, "I know that I just had a little misunderstanding this time, but I know that that woman is definitely cheating on you, Michael. That's why you need to get remarried to me, and we're going to be happy together forever." She was yelling this, but her little brother grabbed her and forcefully dragged her out of our house. On the other hand, my mother-in-law tried to follow after them and sneak out of the house, but my husband stopped her and pulled her right back into the living room. And he told her that until I was willing to forgive her, that he wasn't going to let her anywhere near us or the grandchild, and to not try and contact us either. My father-in-law came to pick her up from our house and made her get down on her knees and apologize to us. Later that night, the delivery man brother must have spoken to his parents about what had happened, because their parents showed up at our front door and they also got down on their knees and apologized to us. However, I knew that there was no way that woman was going to back down or give up so easily. She had gone from only stalking my husband, now stalking the both of us around the clock. One day when my husband was leaving for work, I sent him off from the front door. Just a few seconds later, my husband had turned around and come back home. This never happened, so I asked him what was wrong, and he told me that on the corner of the block, he saw the woman trying to see him. She was trying to hide, but he said that he saw her clearly in the traffic mirror that was at the stoplight. At this point, I no longer felt anger. If anything, I was creeped out and scared. I feared for the safety of our daughter, so I decided to take refuge at my parents' house. To be honest, I was uneasy about leaving my husband alone in that house as well, but my biggest concern was our daughter, to ensure that nothing would happen to her, and so that's what we both prioritized. That upcoming weekend, my husband was going to be joining us at my parents' house, but as we were waiting for him, I got a phone call from my husband. He said that the woman had been caught by the police. To my shock, it turned out that this woman had heard that my daughter and I had gone back to my parents' house, and in the middle of the night, she broke a window and trespassed into our house. However, luckily that day, because I wasn't home, my husband's friends had invited him over for dinner and he ended up staying the night at his friend's place. As for the woman, she saw that the lights were off in the house and assumed that my husband was sleeping at home alone, and she snuck into the house. But our next-door neighbor heard the sound of the window being broken and she called the police for us. I'm so grateful to her. She really did a great job. When the police came running over, the woman started saying that she was pregnant and that she was the wife of my husband, but it was obvious that the lie was going to be ripped apart. After causing us trouble again, my husband said that the woman's parents and little brother came over once again and apologized deeply to him. They ended up paying a settlement fee, but because she had broken our property and trespassed into our house, the woman was placed behind bars. My husband said that the little brother was also apologizing a lot, but he didn't do anything wrong. And if anything, we both felt sorry for him to be stuck with a sister like that and have to be thrown around by her actions like this. For the record, after this incident, my husband and I discussed what to do about our house, and we decided that we were going to move out and move in to live with my parents at our family home. When I told my parents everything that happened this time, they told us that we were more than welcome to move in with them. Because we would be moving towns, my father said that he would ask around his network in the same industry and find an opportunity for my husband. After we moved in, a little while after that, my parents said it would be okay for us to move out and live nearby, but both of my parents had a great relationship with my husband, and he seemed comfortable living with them. We've even started discussing building a new 2-family house that's attached together. For the record, as for my mother-in-law, when we told her that we were moving in with my parents, she was hugely against it.
Why are you moving out? Oh, it was you, wasn't it, Michelle? You said something unnecessary. I don't want to be separated from my son.
She was furious with me, but my husband turned to her and said, "Whose fault do you think this is?" And I had never seen him so angry. With that, his mother could no longer say anything back. To be honest, I want nothing to do with my mother-in-law ever again, and after this incident, my husband also said that he was going to cut off all ties with his mother. But that's no surprise. Not only did she make such a huge misunderstanding, she also said horrible things to our precious daughter. My mother-in-law said that it was all just a misunderstanding and that she wanted to see her granddaughter, but my husband said he has no intention of letting her see our daughter ever again. When I heard that, I was also relieved. After that, my husband was going steadily in his new job, and since we were living with my parents, we were able to save a lot on living expenses. Now that we were able to save more, we were able to go on vacations together with my parents. And life has become pretty fulfilling. Of course, they are obsessed with their granddaughter. More than anything, I'm really happy that I no longer have to see that mother-in-law ever again. After that, my mother-in-law lost her son and her granddaughter, and I heard she's crying about it, but her husband blamed her for all of this. And apparently they're getting into fights every day. But that was none of my business. According to what I had heard, my father-in-law was on the verge of leaving his wife. Thankfully, the woman that was stalking my husband doesn't know this address anymore, and hopefully we never have to see her again either. When my mother-in-law showed up with that woman I have never seen before and started blaming me of an affair and talking about a pregnancy, I didn't know what to do, but right now, I truly am happy with my life.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.